It's a tight race between Luxemburg's Jean-Claude Juncker and Germany's Martin Schulz, who will be the next president of the European Commission. Both Social Democrat Schulz and Conservative candidate Juncker have their eyes on Europe's top job. Today, we're on the campaign trail in France. The campaign kicks off at 7:20 on France 2's morning show in Paris.
Bonjour à tous, bonjour Jean-Claude Juncker. Bonjour. Vous êtes donc candidat à la présidence de la Commission européenne.
Hundreds of journalists have interviewed the leading Christian Democratic candidate since his campaign started in April. And there's one theme he repeats over and over.
Moi, j'ai une longue expérience. I know Europe like the back of my hand. And I want the EU to address big issues: the currency, economy, foreign policy, and climate change, and not the size of shower heads.
Even the candidate of the European Social Democrats and president of the European Parliament speaks in flawless French about less bureaucracy and more Europe when it comes to economic issues. Martin Schulz is in Lothringen, a region where thousands of French nationals commute to work in neighboring countries, thanks to the EU.
Here in Europe, we have a culture that only rewards young entrepreneurs, the startups, if they're successful right away. Those who face setbacks are out. The Americans are far ahead of us. There are more chances there.
Back in Paris, Jean-Claude Juncker is on his way to his next event. The lawyer is a career politician through and through. He headed Luxembourg for 18 years and was chairman of the Eurogroup for 8 years. So what's his impression after touring almost all the countries of the EU?
I haven't really discovered much more than I wasn't already familiar with. Sometimes there are nuances. Unresolved problems in a country have taken on an urgency they didn't have before the crisis. But really big discoveries, things that I hadn't imagined or known, I didn't really come across any of that.
His rival Martin Schulz, however, sees things differently.
Monsieur Martin Schulz, actuel président du Parlement européen et futur président de la Commission européenne.
The socialists in Lothringen are already celebrating the 58-year-old. Across the country, the party has been campaigning hard for Schulz on television, posters, and even balloons. In recent municipal elections, the town of Forbach almost fell to a far-right party. Schulz, originally a bookseller, reminds voters that peace in Europe is the result of hard political work.
I think we, the post-war generation, are often not aware of what we've inherited. I'm allowed to live my life in peace, with chances that our parents could not have dared to dream about. And we don't recognize the sacrifice.
Peace and security are also themes that Juncker touches on, but his focus is on economic policy. The 59-year-old throws around figures at the American Press Club in Paris. He speaks about the banking crisis and the free trade agreement with the US, cracks jokes, and then earnestly tells guests that those who say France should give up the euro are not true patriots.
The extreme right rejects everything that politics has to offer and that can help society progress. And if I'm elected president of the Commission only because the far right supports me, I would not take on the presidency of the European Union, the European Commission. I don't want to get the job thanks to the far right, populists, neo-fascists, xenophobes, and those who reject everything that isn't like them.
They're two committed Europeans who may be a year apart in life experience, but whose politics aren't so different. But one clear difference emerges after 12 hours of campaigning in France. Juncker hardly talks about Schulz. But Schulz is certainly not doing the same.
Every 5 years, Jean-Claude Juncker transforms into a veritable socialist. In between, he's a tough-as-nails Christian Democrat and Prime Minister of Luxembourg, who defends the financial world tooth and nail. But if I say tomorrow that I promise sunshine forever in the EU, Juncker would say, me too.
At the end of the campaign, each of the candidates has to answer 3 questions. We're looking for their favorite animal, color, and object.
The color is blue. That's the uniform of workers.
The color is red because I belong to the Reds, and that's my life.
The animal is dog.
A hippopotamus. My daughter gave me one when she was 6, and it brings me luck.
And what was the other thing?
The object.
A bus.
My wedding ring, because if I'm not with my wife, it's the most important object because it connects me to her.
It's the end of campaigning today, time to go home, and then on to the next European country.